She helps entrepreneurs and professionals create platforms for positive change by gaining clarity. Napakahalaga talaga nito clarity. So that's 3 P's. So passion, purpose, and productivity as a solution-focused coach, trainer, and facilitator. So prior to coaching, Ms. Joyce Talag spearheaded award-winning corporate social responsibility programs on a national scale and was also instrumental to the revival and growth of some of the country's most respected corporate philanthropic organizations. So Joyce also completed her International Coach Federation accredited coach training program from the Academy of Solutions Focused Training in Singapore. So her current advocacies include breast cancer prevention and mental health awareness. And she's also a solo parent to a teenager, a lifelong learner, and a fitness enthusiast. So guys, please join me and let's give a warm round of applause to Ms. Joyce Talag.
Thank you and good morning. You know, I wanted to change. Hello? Yes, I wanted to change the topic of my talk this morning, thanks to Zane. Sabi niya, it's almost noon, so my topic might be how to be happier when you're hungry. Are you guys hungry already? A little? So just bear with me. This will be a really short talk. Again, my name is Joyce Talag. I am a coach. And this morning, I had the privilege to make it here a little early, thanks to the less lighter traffic at EDSA. And when I was listening to your speakers this morning, I took down notes because I learned about, the common feelings or emotions, considerations, concerns that most of us here as entrepreneurs and freelancers often experience. And what are those? Just to, make a quick recap in case you're too hungry to remember. EJ said that, if you're an entrepreneur, you have to be emotionally strong because you are the anchor of all your employees. If you're a freelancer, then you use like your support system. Earlier also, RJ said that commonly among entrepreneurs, we have this fear of failure. And to some, yung katukayo ko, sabi niya, if you're multi-passion, there is that risk of being confused, which can also lead to what Ms. Teresa said earlier, na baka this can lead to a personal crisis also. So, between having this kind of mindset and changing your emotions is actually a simple conversation. Something that all of us do here. Like, as soon as you come in, we talk. We love to talk, right? So for the rest of my presentation, I'd like to invite you to talk with me, okay? I'll be sharing with you some tips on how you can change your mental or emotional state into something that's more positive and of course, more pleasant. In the past year, I have seen a couple of entrepreneurs, freelancers, professionals who are going through life changes, who are about to make decisions. And this is what I learned. Our conversations have the amazing power to uplift. Yes, they do. Usually, we just I hold my coaching conversations in coffee shops. And at the end of the conversation, the usual, feedback that I get from my clients is, para lang tayong nag-usap, but there is a breakthrough. Of course, we don't get to sit with a coach all the time, right? Sometimes, we are the coaches in our relationships, for our clients. As freelancers, we somehow need to have that kind of conversation that enlightens, right? So, I will be introducing 3 stereotypical freelancers or entrepreneurs, and some of you might be able to relate with them. Just a little disclaimer here, any resemblance to actual persons would entirely be fictional, okay? So the first person would Tina here. You know, whenever I sit down with these Tinas, I usually hear them say, you know, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to move forward. I don't know. And admittedly, this is one of the difficult conversations that you can have with somebody who does not know what to do. When I'm faced with this kind of person, admittedly, I feel like telling them, you know, I don't know either. Right? But it's important, okay? Whenever you're talking to a person, or let's say you're doing your own self-talk, which we love to do, whenever you are in these kinds of conversation, always explore the feelings, the underlying emotions to these words. So when someone tells you, I don't know, probably because that person is clueless, like she does not really know, or maybe there is some sort of confusion. Maybe you're also multi-passionate. So, okay, I don't know where to start. Okay? So, how do we alter or change the feeling behind this? Gain clarity by asking, okay, listen to me. Okay, I'm not going to ask, what is your best hope? Because when you ask the person, what is your best hope? You know, I can tell you a variety of answers ranging from love, world peace, a boyfriend. Okay? But ask yourself or that person, what does your best hope look like? There is a big difference between getting an abstract answer to something that is more concrete, more tangible. As much as possible, try to be very specific and add more details into it. When you add more details, it has to appeal to the 5 senses of your mind. So, it's as if parang nakikita ko na siya. Parang nahahawakan ko na siya. Kung naaamoy ko, parang naaamoy ko na rin. So, that is your best hope. The next person, itago na lang natin sa pangalang Greg. Okay, the Gregs in this room could be the person who asks questions like, what's wrong? Where did I go wrong? Why? Bakit nangyari to? Why? Okay? At times, when you find yourself in Greg's shoes, you are suffering with, what's this common malady? Paralysis by analysis. Diba? Magaling tayo dyan. Gusto natin malaman. Ano ba yung root cause? Yes, it does help finding out what the root cause of a problem is. But if we're going to examine your emotions, okay, that lie beneath these words that you ask or say, there could be, some feelings of regret, disbelief, shame. But at the end of the day, there is also that desire to go back up. So maybe you're fallen out of your, positive state. That's why you have, you're feeling regret, you're feeling shame. But if you have that desire to go back up, what is the best thing to do? Okay, I'd like to invite you to look at the screen. This horizon represents your best hope. Your best hope is actually the sun and the clouds. And earlier we were a little more specific about, how your best hope looks like. The road is more like your plan, your strategy. How will you get from where you are now to your best hope? But now I'd like you to divert your attention to this roadblock. Okay? Many times we encounter roadblocks. Many times, we encounter bumps in the road. But the thing is, minsan titignan natin, what could be wrong? Why is there a roadblock? Why is it there? But ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. You can actually shift lanes and just proceed towards your final or ultimate destination. So the lesson here is, yes, it's good to pay attention to blocks, to problems, to issues, but they do not have to take your time away. So maybe, it's going to take you just 6 months to get to the goal that you set for this year. But if you spend too much time trying to resolve an issue, ngayon pala, okay, if you're going to take a step back, this issue is really, just something that you will pass by. So, why spend like a day thinking about it when you can just shift lanes and proceed with where you're headed to? Okay? So the key here, if you're having this conversation, is to lessen the number of whys. Okay? Or, things that you ask yourself to analyze or overanalyze, overthink the situation. The key is to start asking more of the hows, okay, and less of the whys. How can I move forward? And this last lady, I'd like to call her Cess. So I'm sorry if your name Cess. Okay, when you meet the Cesses in this room, or people like a lot of us can relate to, we hear them say, "I'm not sure, I cannot do this." And usually, like me, I transitioned from corporate to, freelancing, being a little more entrepreneurial at the same time. There's a feeling of inadequacy. Yes, in the past 12 years, I was able to do a lot of things. But once you go solo, you feel like, okay, am I really that good? I don't think I'm that good enough. Now, underneath these words that you say are feelings of fear, RJ said, feelings of fear, fear of failure, there is anxiety, and sometimes you might just be too overwhelmed. My horizon, it's just too far away. It just seems too great. But andito lang ako eh. Maybe you have that grand plan of, this is my point A, and this is how I will get to my goal, which is my final destination. Maybe you're a little more pragmatic. Okay, I'm realistic, so from point A, I will just get to my point B, which is the next mile. But sometimes this next mile is still like, a little too far away. Parang long stretch pa siya. So, believe it or not, I realized that when you ask yourself or the person in front of you, what's your first small, simple step? That is really very powerful. And I have to tell you, I was seated, I had this coaching client back in November, and for weeks and months, she felt stuck because she had to make a big decision. Do I leave our family business and make my mother and my father very unhappy? Or do I finally go out and do my own thing? So it made her really feel stuck that, she wasn't really doing any of the things that she used to do in the past. And what helped her build her momentum was the realization that, okay, I can really start somewhere. And my first baby step is to start fixing my bed as soon as I wake up. Kasi sabi nila, happiness is like, taking that step forward. So, nagkaroon siya ng step forward instead of just sleeping and then, moving like a zombie. She's actually doing something to change her day. So, we have about 2 minutes left. And maybe, it's still January. And I'm sure a lot of you are still thinking, okay, what do I plan to do for the next 12 months or 11 months and 2 weeks? I'd like to invite you to take a look at the screen. Okay? And supposing your EFF 2020 ticket comes with a free miracle. And that miracle just happened. You see all those lights over there? That's a sign that the miracle happened. So, what is that first change that you will notice as soon as you step out of the venue? how does the change look like? Who will be part of that change? And that person who is in that change, what will he tell you? Or what will she tell you? Dear entrepreneurs and freelancers, you know, we can change the stories of our lives and of our year ahead through one conversation at a time. Thank you very much for listening. And let's continue the conversation by following me on my social media accounts. Again, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Joyce.